All right, and we're back. And I'm sorry I took a break. I had to go to San Francisco and do some stuff. So now I'm back, and we're gonna keep it rolling every day. Now, last time we put the wolf in the game, but I noticed it didn't have damage. So this time let's put some damage on the wolf, and we're gonna add a loot system to the game. So let's put this damage, like the wolf needs to be able to damage the player. So we need to make in the wolf's animation. So let's go back to our content. Let's find our animal pack, wolf in the animation. Find the bite montage right here. And what we're going to do is we're going to put some notifies there. So I've already made them, but I'll make them again with y'all. So right when you want the attack to start, we want to right click down here on the one track, and we're going to say add notify. Now we don't have a notify to add, so we can add one here. And the way we'll do it is we'll just say right click, blueprint class, search for anim notify, and click that one. Select. Inside this anim notify, you can call it like attack start or something like that. But all you have to do is say receive notify. Then you have to get owner as the mesh component. Get owner. And then what you want to do is cast to the wolf. All right, so then you cast to the wolf, plug that up, and we just want to say if attacking is true, get attacking. If that's true, then, or we actually just want to set attacking to true, I'm sorry. So set attacking to true, so get set attacking to true. And make sure this return value is clicked on. Compile and save. Now, all you have to do is duplicate that. And in the duplicate, we're just going to set it to false. And we're going to call it wolf attack off or something. And just set it to false. And that will be right here when they finish attacking. So now the wolf can apply damage to the player. And that's something that we needed to happen. The next thing that we need to do in this video is we need to make a loot system. Actually, let's test out that wolf real quick. Okay, to make it work a little bit better, let's add a little sphere here. So on the mesh, let's add a sphere collision, S-P-H-E-R-E, and we're just gonna put it. We could attach it to a socket, which is the head, but I'm just gonna put it right where it needs to be. So right here. And then we can attach it to the head. Let's find the head socket right there, Bob. So now it moved a little bit, so I'm gonna pause the animations. I'm gonna get that sphere, and I'm gonna move it back to where it needs to be. And the reason why we're adding this sphere is so that we can make the player take damage at a certain point. So let's do this right here, and compile and save. Now scroll down and say on begin overlap. And what we're going to do is drag this up to the top here. And I don't know if you have this in your wolf code or not, but we're going to cast to the third person character. That's going to be the other actor. Then what we're going to do is get a branch and see if attacking from the wolf is true. If it is true, put a do once. We'll handle this later. And then set the enemy damage to enemy damage, which right now it's set to 15. Then do a player take damage, which you have to drag off of your third person character. And then from there, we need to call a function. So from the reset on your do once, type in custom event and call it reset attack. And at the end of this code, just call it reset attack. Now, every time the character overlaps that sphere, if attacking is true, they're going to take damage. So let's see that working in real time. This should fix all of the problems with the wolf. So let me unpause the animations. That's the problem, because the code is being driven off of his animation. So my bad. Unpause, compile, save, stop, save again, and play. Now this time, Ouch. Ooh. Ow. Wolves are dangerous. Oh. All right, cool. So the wolf damage does work now. The wolf's damage works now. So everything is working there. All right, so now let's go ahead and move to our loot system. In order to do that, let's go to our third person character, blueprints, assets, pickups folder, where we have our main master pickup item. Right click that, and we're going to make a, let's do a child blueprint of that. And we're going to call it loot. So create a child blueprint, and we're going to call it loot underscore BP. I already have one, so I'm making it all over again. So in this loot, what we want it to do, if you kill this wolf or any character, you want some loot to pop up. Now, you can say you want the loot to just pop up right above where the character died. But let's see what happens. Let's see how we're going to do this. So double click on the loot that we just made, and it should look just like the master item, and it has a name. So we don't know what the name would be yet, because we don't know what it's called yet. So event graph, let's go to here so we can code this up. What happens is that we need to be able to pick up this loot, but we need it to spawn a random item when it spawns in the game. So let's do a custom event called spawn random loot. All right, so what's going to happen is it needs to spawn an actor from the class. Spawn actor from class. Now, where does it need to spawn it? We can put a scene here. So on your mesh, let's just add a scene. And this will be stuck to this mesh. Now, event, let's get that scene. Say get world location and world rotation. Get world rotation. All right, and then to the right here, spawn transform, split that and hook up the location there and the rotation there. The scale is fine to be what it is. Okay, so it's going to spawn an actor, but it doesn't know which actor. So right here, we need to drag off this one and make it a variable. So drag off, promote it to a variable, and we're going to call it actor to spawn. And make sure the eyeball is clicked on here, compile and save. So now we can control it from any blueprint. It can have multiple of these in one level. But the actor to spawn, let's just type in rocks for now. So let's just say it's going to spawn a rock. And then what happens is, that's cool. That's cool. But we need to make it so that when anything dies, that it spawns in loot. So, and we'll do this, we need to call this function in order for it to work. So on event begin play, spawn random loot. So all we'd have to do now is spawn this actor, which is the loot actor, into the game. And as soon as it does spawn into the game, it's going to spawn a random actor, which in this case is just a rock. We'll show you how to get it random in a second. But let's just make sure that this loot is working. We have to attach it to the death. So wolf, let's go to the wolf. There should be like a take damage. Cool. If dead is true, add a spawn actor, and we're going to spawn that loot that we just made. And where are we going to spawn it? You could say we could just spawn it in the location where the mesh is, but then add like, I don't know, Z direction to it. So let's get the mesh. I understand why we did it. Mesh. World rotation is cool, but world location, let's do a plus. And in the Z direction, we're going to add a little bit to it. So maybe like 100. And then plug that in. World location though, So it's just going to take the world location and add 100 to it. Let's see what that looks like. It should spawn a rock if we kill a wolf. Now these wolves are stupid aggressive now. Remember that. So I gotta use my finesse with this. Perfect. Perfect. So the rock is right there on top of the wolf. Now, two things. All right. So what we need to do is in that loot one that we just made, there's this little white cube, which is our mesh. First of all, we need to go down to the collision and say no collision. And second of all, we need to go down to the visibility and set invisible. So unclick that. Therefore, it will spawn what we need it to spawn. All right, bet. And then the second thing is in our wolf. So if dead is true, you can't do something else. Oh, on pawn sensing here. So let's say if dead is true. So let's drag off here and say dead. Get dead, put a branch here. And if dead is true, don't do anything. Only do stuff if dead is false. And let's see if we can put that here as well on attack player. So put a branch and do the dead thing again, dead. So if dead is true, do nothing. But if dead is false, continue down that path. Perfect. And let's see if there's any other areas we need to check. No. No, because he can't attack if he's dead. Bet. So this should fix all of those problems there, and the loot should spawn, and it should look good. So let's see if we can make that happen here. So let me grab this weapon real quick. And where's the wolf at? Hey. Okay, and there's the rock there. Can you pick it up, though? Okay. It spawns in correctly. Can't seem to pick it up. All right, so you can pick up the loot. We need to destroy this loot actor so it gets out the way after it spawns the actual loot. So let's do a delay for like 2 seconds, or 0.2 seconds, sorry, and then just destroy actor. So the whole loot actor will be destroyed, but it will have spawned in this actor. Now, if you want this to be random items that you choose, what you can do is turn this into an array, and then you'll be able to choose the different items that you can put in here. But for me, I'm just going to leave it as an eye-opening thing for now, because that's also something that's easy to set. So now you can loot, and you can get whatever you want from any kind of creature or animal like that. So all you have to do is go into the animal's blueprint. In this instance, we'll go into the wolf's blueprint. And when they die, you're spawning that loot actor. And if you want it to be random, what you'd have to do is in your loot, instead of doing one like this, again, like I said, you'd have to turn this into an array. So I'm not going to turn it into an array. I'm just going to, we'll make a new one actually. So promote to a variable again, but this time we're going to make it an array. Change variable type to an array. And now that it's an array, what you can do is you can come in here. We got to unhook it from class though. It's an array, so you can say get a copy of it. And now what you can do is from the blue pin, you can say random integer in range. So now whatever number of items you have in your array, you could say get a random item from that list. So let's put rocks. Scrap wood. All right, so I got 3 items. So that's 0, 1, and 2. So anywhere between 0 and 2, choose a random integer and get that item. And that's how you get a random item to pop up with your loot. And so that ends this episode. I don't want to make it too long, but what we did basically is made sure that the wolf can attack us. You can control the wolf's damage and all that. It's all here on the right hand side. See, here's the enemy damage. And also we made it so that the loot spawns from the wolf. Now, if you want to add the loot to any other player, just remember, go into their blueprint and just add the loot there. Some NPCs might not have loot, but some of them might. But that's all I wanted to show you this episode. Thanks for joining me. We're going to finish this up, and it's going to be very dope by the end of this. So I will see y'all in the next one. Peace.
Run to the money, on my feet, don't fail. The DA and the judge wanna do their best to jail. I done heard it all.